NBA, and he's got to figure out how to make it. And from what I get feedback from the Lake organization, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's working hard, and when you're undrafted, you got more steps than drafted players.
I just think if you take the right attitude about playing, you'll have fun with it. You get better playing than you do practicing.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow afternoon. It's the first time I've ever will go and watch a game before my game, but I think this causes for a special occasion.
I don't know if I can come watch, man. I've never broken up my rhythm.
Wow, back to those days, huh?
It's your attitude, your energy, and your togetherness on the basketball court.
Early in his coaching career, George Karl was obsessed with basketball. He moved his family from city to city as he pursued an elusive NBA title. And young Coby stood on the sidelines watching as the sport consumed his father.
You know, he put his whole life, his whole passion into being successful doing basketball, and unfortunately our family was not the benefactor of it. You know, the basketball was. I was a ball boy for him in Seattle for 7 years, and I was around his teams in Milwaukee and around his teams in Denver. And I've seen how he works and, you know, what he preaches to his teams and what his players like and dislike about him.
You gotta believe that, guys. You fought too hard, every one of you.
So you kind of take from that and you learn and, you know, kind of let it soak in.
Everything we did was for basketball. Of a free trip to wherever, Spain, Hawaii.
We went to Alaska one year we actually did a lot of fishing, but we had to do like basketball camps in the morning.
I'm going to stand up for my fatherhood a little bit. I think, you know, I cheated my family of time, but I think I gave them a lot of quality, and I probably didn't give them quantity. Yeah, I look back, I wish I would have done some things differently. But the game has been good to us, and the last 4 or 5 years, the game has brought us closer.
This is where you're hanging, huh? It's not quite as bad as in the dorm room in Boise. Where's the turkey?
Still, you got to do something worthwhile to contribute. Plus, you get to nibble when you're caught.
We didn't get to spend Thanksgiving, so I mean, this is as good as we could get.
I think the turn was my last year in Milwaukee when I got fired, and he was at Boise State. I got to spend more quality time and went to practices with him. And in that time, I realized through his sarcastic attitude that I did not give him enough time in the early years.
Kind of like he said, we had an understanding where, like, you know, maybe you should have been there a little more in the past. But then you're like, what, 19 years old, and you're like, all right, you can, you know, I'll go spend my time in college now. You can go off to Denver and work.
Passing game, you're running, Blue, you're running.
The Nuggets' job was a new beginning for George, but it was also a time of personal crisis as he learned he had prostate cancer. But just months after successful surgery in the summer of 2005, he received news that was far more devastating. His son was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
Once you get through the first couple weeks knowing that you have cancer, you toughen up, but you can't toughen up for your son. You feel he's down a little bit. Should you be there? Should you leave your job? Should you leave your team? And most of the time he thinks I'm a wimp for, you know, being too sensitive or too caring. Those times I wasn't caring, I was a jerk, but now I'm a wimp because I am caring.
Coby received a clean bill of health in the spring of 2007, which allowed him to pursue his goal of making it to the NBA. But after all he'd been through, he once again found that being George Karl's son presented a unique challenge.
I think what I experienced most was people who thought I couldn't play. No one ever thought I was hyped up as I was supposed to be, or that I should be on the varsity team, or that I should be on a starter in college, or even on the college team, and, you know, or even up to this level now. It was just because who my dad was, and, you know, I think that's what drove me.
Coby made the Lakers, but he saw little playing time, so the team assigned him to the D-League to get more seasoning. Since his father was in town, he watched Coby's debut, something the old George Karl might never have done.
He was talking about how he doesn't play a lot, and he would like to be more on the court, and I think now this opportunity is going to give him a lot of minutes to play. A lot of fathers and sons don't have the bond that we have now. We might not have had the best history, but in the same sense, we've had good history most of our lives, and we fought through the tough times. I think his toughness will be a factor in why he'll make it to the NBA.
A day after Coby heard his news about being assigned to the Defenders, another member of that team was called up to the NBA, ironically to play for George Karl.